So Bungie, the developers behind the very popular game Destiny, have decided to lay people off. And, well, the public reaction is kind of wild. They put out a statement saying, "This morning we shared an important update with the Bungie team on a difficult decision to eliminate 220 roles at Bungie." You can read the full statement below. Let's have a quick look at this statement and actually see what they've put out. "This morning I'm sharing with you," this was Pete Parsons, which I think is the CEO of Bungie, put out the statement. "This morning I'm sharing with all of you some of our most difficult stages we've had to make this studio. Due to rising costs of development, industry shifts, as well as enduring economic conditions, it has become clear that we need to make a substantial change to our current structure and focus development effort entirely on Destiny and Marathon." I think that's the other game they're developing as well. "This means beginning today, 220 of our roles will be eliminating, representing roughly 14% of our studio's workforce." So this comes in light of more layoffs. Not really surprising, this year hasn't been great for the gaming industry. I think at the beginning of the year there were layoffs, huge layoffs at Microsoft and Sony and EA and many other big development studios and companies. And it's not a surprise. But yeah, it's a shocking thing that they need to do this. These actions will affect every level of the company, including most of our executive and senior leader roles. Today is a difficult and painful day, especially for our departing colleagues, all of which have made an important and valuable contributions to Bungie. Our goal is to support them with the utmost care and respect for everyone affected by this job reduction. We will be offering generous exit package, including severance, bonus, and health coverage. I realise this is hard news, especially following the success we've all seen with the final shape. I'm guessing that's the DLC for Destiny that just released not long ago, I think. The final shape, but we've navigated the broader economic realities over the last year, and after exhausting all other options, this has become a necessary decision to refocus our studio and other businesses with more realistic goals and viable financials. We are committed to other changes today that we believe will support our focus, leverage Sony's strengths, and create an opportunity for Bungie's talent." Didn't they get bought out by Bungie? I think they bought them for like $1 billion or something like that. Just over a year ago now. It's pretty shocking to see this. Again, it's not a surprise. Studios have had to do this for a long time. First, we are depending our integration with Sony Interactive and working to integrate 155 of our roles, roughly 12% into SIE over the next few quarters. SIE worked tirelessly with us to identify roles for as many of our people as possible, enabling us to get together. Second, we are working with PlayStation Studios leadership to spin out our incubation project and an action game set in a brand new, I'm guessing that's to do with Marathon they're developing. Additionally, in 2023, our rapid expansion ran headlong into a broad economic slowdown, sharp turn down in the games industry. Our quality with Destiny 2, Lightfall, and the need to give both Final Shape and Marathon the times they needed to ensure projects deliver the quality of our players expect and deserve. we were overly ambitious. Our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running in the red. Really, that's gonna come more. That's gonna come more obvious. Maybe why you were running in the red in in the future. So yeah, it's pretty much Bungie will continue to make great games. We still have over 850 team members building Destiny and Marathon, and we will continue to build amazing experiences that exceed our players' expectations. There will be a time to talk about our goals and projects, but today is not that day. Today, focusing on supporting our people. Now, it does get a little worse, to be honest, because the CEO, should we say, has been, well, exposed. Obviously a lot of people aren't too happy and wishing everyone affected all the best. How on earth can this keep happening? Obviously a lot of people, well done, Pete. So what's the next car you're getting? So this comes into what exactly is coming out. So apparently it's rumored that an ex-employee of Bungie who was laid off calls on Bungie CEO Pete Parsons to step down. Also says he is a liar, thief, and claims this isn't on Sony but Bungie leadership. Pete has also supposedly bought a whopping 24 vehicles from a single auction site since the acquisition closed in July 2022, totaling $2,409,550 in costs, presumably part funded by what Lena refers as the giant Sony payout. Pete privatized his Twitter account early today. Step down, Pete. You are a liar, thief, and also many things we can't discuss publicly. Step down. The giant Sony payout isn't on Sony. This is squarely on the failure of leadership, plain and simple. And they have decided to privatize their Twitter. Now, this is pretty bad. A CEO. Now, I don't know who is actually in charge. Does Sony have any sort of ownership of? I'm guessing they do. They were the ones who bought this. Now, obviously, this is coming pretty crazy today. Yeah, says that we say goodbye to colleagues who are. Oh yeah, that was an old tweet he put out. Colleagues who have had significant impact on our studio expectations. That was an old tweet. Wow, it's very shocking. This. It's not very surprising. I think this is a former employee at Bungie. Coward, you did this. You chose this. I'm already listed as do not work with, and I don't care anymore. You lied to my face, straight to it. You also invited me to come see on new cars 2 days before you laid me off. 2 fucking days. Leave now. So I'm guessing this guy is kind of rubbing the fact that he's purchased a bunch of vehicles off an auction site in the front of his ex-employees that he's just fired. And apparently someone worked out the paycheck of how someone gets paid. I can't exactly remember where it was. Apparently someone has worked out. A quick look at Glassdoor shows the average starting salary at Bungie at about $75,000. He spent around $500,000 on cars since October layoffs. That's around a cost of 5 to 6 positions on a hobby. But I'm sure he did everything he could to prevent these layoffs. So it looks like he's sort of rubbing this in the former employees' faces, which is a pretty fucked up thing to do. Now, I know layoffs are a pretty big thing. Layoffs in the past year haven't been great in the gaming industry. This just seems a very shitty situation. This seems horrible situation. the CEO, you get laid off, and then come to find out that the CEO is spending shit tons of money from the big Sony payout and then laying people off. So where's that money coming from? You said that you were in the red. You said that you were veering in the red. Do you mean your bank account was veering in the red, or Bungie's bank account was veering in the red? I'm guessing you were probably talking about your bank account, considering you spent almost $2.5 million on cars over a few months, which is crazy. And then sort of rubbing it. Oh yeah. You can come and check out my car collection and that I just purchased with a shit ton of money. But guess what? You're getting fired. Not a great look for the CEO. An awful look, in fact, for the CEO of Bungie. I think they've had a pretty good run with the game. This is trending on Twitter still. A lot of people are not happy with Bungie whatsoever. And they obviously put out this statement. A lot of former employees that I think were fired, is incredibly... they're annoyed. Bungie CEO, it's disgraceful leadership in a nutshell. Bungie leadership ensures employees' Sony deal will not result in layoffs. When was this published? Oh, this article was made more than 2 years ago. Mass Bungie layoffs leave fellow game devs shocked and Destiny 2 community shocked. Wasn't this last year? This was October 2023. Damn, what is wrong with the leadership there? This morning, obviously this was here. Bungie's dev reportedly spent over, obviously, on classic cars. This is not a very good look for you, is it? You know, you're a CEO and you've pretty much just laid off a bunch of people, and it's come out that you spent almost $2 million, or just nearly $3 million, not far off, on cars on an auction site. It should embarrass you a little bit, right? Surely it should. It's obviously not going to help you anyway. A lot of people on Twitter have done this, and a lot of people are very annoyed at. Obviously, he's put his tweets unprotected. Seems like whatever anyone does when they get called out for something, they seem to fall in, put their tweets unprotected, decide to save their ass because they know they are. This greed dipshit said the exact same thing after the layoffs at Bungie 9 months ago, as he is saying the layoffs today. Bro just cares about money and continues to prove he has zero regard for the well-being of employees. Fuck Pete Parsons. This is from the Actman, obviously, on Twitter. I love when game developers lay off staff. It's always the same difficult decision, and this was hard for us. Corpo speak meant for gamer sympathy. Yeah, I see that a lot. It's almost like they're all the same. It's like they're following the same script. We are deeply sorry to announce that we are laying off. Like, just save the bullshit. You know, you're not really sorry though, are you? You're doing this to save your pockets and save your investors' pockets, and obviously save your CEO's pockets from this standpoint. You know, it's not hard to tell that you just don't give a shit about the employees. You know, you couldn't give an ass. Same with Microsoft. Same with every sort of studio. Well, maybe some studios give it, like small, very small studios actually care. But any big studio that AAA or it has AAA money coming in or funding, they don't care. They don't care one bit. They will fight even if it saves them $100,000. They'll fire your ass. You know, it's a sad reality, but it's unfortunately it's a very common reality now. These aren't very safe jobs from the looks of it. I mean, then again, the tech industry has been kind of on a decline since COVID. It's been all over. Now, I don't just want to blame COVID for this reason, obviously. That's the easy escape to blame something that happened 4 years ago, nearly 5 years ago now. Yes, it did cause a huge problem with jobs. In fact, back then, that's when a lot of people, a lot of companies were overhiring, especially in the gaming industry, because they knew it was, and yeah, the gaming industry was booming back then. It was doing incredible. And obviously what did developers do? They overhired. They hired incredible amounts of people. And then, boom. What happens is years later, 2, 3, 4 years later, these games aren't doing as well as they maybe did in lockdown, purely because a lot of people aren't exactly at home, so they don't have all their time to put into this game and maybe some money to put into this game as well. So what do? They fire a bunch of them. I think that should be illegal, just to hire a bunch of people and then just fire them in a few years because of that. Just don't hire people at all, or put them on like a sort of a contract thing, so they work until a set date or whatever, because at least then they know they're not going to be working there long, but they're sort of work like a freelance type thing. I think that would be the best case scenario, but just not really doing that, and then in a few years later, it's like, oh yeah, well, you're getting fired. Now, yeah, that is like the sort of cut. Bro, it's not that hard for you. If it's not that hard for you, then stop laying off staff. This industry never learns. Bungie fucking sucks. Yeah, the gaming industry never learns. It seems like it's, when it lays off people, it always uses the same speech. Like, it's a very difficult time for you. It's definitely not a difficult time for your pockets, though, is it? Because, if you can spend and rifle almost $2.5 million on auctions, well, that just shows you how arsey really you are. Now, I think Bungie obviously have been under fire for quite some time, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's... Oh, someone pictured a picture. We apologise. We know many of you. Today I want to share an important... Yeah, it's whenever developers try to speak to their fan bases or speak to their employees, they try to apologize to make it seem like they actually care. But remember this, they don't care. As long as you have money, they'll somewhat show interest and show like they care, but they don't. As soon as you stop with the money, as a consumer and a customer, they don't really care about you. As long as you are bringing money in, they'll show some interest, but they still don't care about you, obviously. Obviously, this is still trending on Twitter. Over 20,000 jobs in the gaming industry in the past have been lost in the past 18 months. Bungie, Bethesda, Ubisoft, PlayStation, Activision, Epic Games, EA, Xbox, etc. Yeah, that is quite crazy. A bunch of jobs. Now, again, a lot of this may be because of overhiring through COVID. I know a bunch of companies, again, hired like crazy. Again, got very immature when hiring, then leaves it a few years, realizes the gaming industry isn't really making as much money purely because people don't have a lot of time to actually put into games they would love to put into, because they've got work and stuff to do, and they've got other things to do that they need to be doing, like looking after their families and stuff like that. So they're not spending as much time and they're not putting as much money into a particular game in the gaming industry. So what happens? The gaming industry collapses, or they start cutting back on jobs to try and save some sort of financial thing, but they still pay their CEOs a ton of fucking money. So it's not really surprising at all that this sort of stuff is happening. Leadership needs to be changed. The decision to have decisions have constantly led to disaster for everyone who has been making games we play. They've been reckless with the studio, its employees, and its franchise. The problem is clear. Bad leadership, it needs to change. Once upon a time, I entertained the idea of working at Bungie to escape instability in media. Bungie laying off 220 people and the CEO immediately going on a private on Twitter all while having Be Brave in his bio is really fucking rich. We all know the one Brave now. 220 people and their families. Yeah, it's a horrible thing to read. That must be a really shitty feeling that, you lose your job and then you realize the CEO is just recklessly spending cash and sort of flexing to you. Oh, guess what, dude? Check out. Listen, I know I just laid you off, but come on, see what I just bought. See what I bought. This is incredible. See what I bought with the money that the company paid me. Absolute joke. I don't know what it is with the gaming industry in the past, year or so. It's, wow. Now, 220 people are 17% of what their workforce. It's quite a lot, to be fair with you. Now, Bungie, obviously, are quite a respected, I guess, developer studio. I think they did, at one point, actually, they were on the Halo. They were doing something to do with Halo. I think they were one of the developers for Halo before I think Microsoft bought it out from them. And obviously they've created Destiny. Now, I haven't played too much Destiny, but I think it is a free-to-play game now. It didn't used to be Destiny 2. But yeah, it's a lot of people like Destiny 2. I haven't played Destiny 2 in a long time. But it's a very successful game. It's doing very well on Steam. A lot of people like it. I know they've just had a very successful launch of their DLC. They've just launched. A lot of people like Destiny quite clearly. It's doing well. It was doing well anyway. A lot of people, well, they like it. It's no shame in that. It's obvious that people do like Destiny, but the leadership is, well, if this is the leadership with Bungie, there is currently 51,000 people playing and 66,000 people playing in the last 24 hours. So, a lot of people are loving this. On the 16th of July 2024, we had a peak of 101,000. Almost 1.5 years ago, it had 316,000 people playing. So people love Destiny. However, this type of stuff people don't like. The gaming industry needs to find a way to stop doing this sort of stuff. And again, they all reply in the same manner. We are sorry we're doing this. No, you're not. You're not sorry. You couldn't give a... I really... You know what? If you'd be honest, I'd actually respect these companies if they said, we regret to inform you, but we are laying people off. Not because we give a shit or anything. We will bullshit you and say we're deeply sorry. But in reality, we don't give a shit about you. We're trying to save our own pockets and our own ass. And in reality, we're still making a decent amount of money. It's just our investors and our CEO want an extra 100,000 a year. And of course, we've got to sacrifice a few jobs for that. That would be an honest thing if they just said something like that. But anyway, it's the gaming industry. It's not like it's unaware or this isn't happening. It's happening quite regularly now. So I do pray for the people who have lost their jobs. I hope you do find somewhere in the industry quite quickly or something, because obviously being out of a job can negatively impact your life and negatively impact you. If you have big bills to pay and stuff like that, again, this is going to really impact you very much. So I really hope they do find a job in somewhat in the industry, and hopefully they get into it speedily. And well, hopefully the CEO of Bungie understands what he's done and understands how much of an asshole he is, and maybe he steps down from his role and lets someone actually who isn't much of an asshole take over. And someone who actually has a bit of leadership and not just rubbing stuff like this in the employees' faces.
But that's all that really is. It's not a surprising thing that layoffs are happening. But this takes the icing on the cake for the CEO, though.